Tennis great Novak Djokovic is stirring up all kinds of trouble in the tennis world.
Yeah, so Djokovic, he's a 9-time Australian Open champion. He's won 3 in a row. He tried to go to the Australian Open, and he thought that he had some kind of medical exemption. At one time, I heard it was a religious exemption, but they're saying medical now. And he thought he was going to be allowed to play. And you know how Australia is. Like, have you heard about? They were on lockdown for years.
Very aggressive about COVID protection.
They take it very serious about. I mean, I want to say like it's 95% or more vaccinated. So they take it very serious.
And so
for him to come in and not want to be vaccinated and play in their tournament
is a big deal.
Right. And there was actually like a news reporter that just trashed him behind the scenes. But I mean, that's just the perception that if you're unvaccinated, you're an alien in Australia or something. So. But we got some video on it.
It's a big story. So this is breaking this morning. It's Fox News alert. Novak Djokovic out of the Australian Open. His fight with the state of Australia, the government of Australia, has gone 2 rounds. First, he was held in a detention facility in a hotel for several days.
Detention facility, huh?
Wow.
He tried to enter that country to play in the Australian Open. He was under the belief that he had an exemption, a medical exemption from tournament authorities. But the government, the Border Patrol, said, no, you do not. He won an appeal with a judge, but that then was appealed again by the immigration authorities in Australia to take away his visa. Here's what Djokovic is saying this morning as he is being deported. He is saying, I will now be taking some time to rest and to recuperate before making any further comments beyond this. I'm extremely disappointed with the court ruling to dismiss my application for judicial review and the minister's decision to cancel my visa, which means I cannot stay in Australia and participate in the Australian Open. I respect the court's ruling, and I will cooperate with the relevant authorities in relation to my departure from the country. He is the reigning
athletes, and people should take note in his response there. That is a professional, well-worded, clear response to how he handled that situation.
Right.
A lot of times you see people making a statement, and you can tell it's kind of like tongue-in-cheek, but that was a very professional statement. So.
Right.
Australian Open champion, and he cannot play because he is unvaccinated. Now,
yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, and the other side of this is that it's not like the vaccination keeps you from getting or spreading the virus now. That's been well proven, and yet they're still acting like that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
And another point of this is that he's won 3 in a row. This would have been his chance to win 4 in a row, and it will impact his ability to get the Grand Slam, which is winning all the majors. And he's the number 1 player in the world. So,
well, I always tremendously respect when people stand up for what they believe in, and we've seen that, in business world locally, people are willing to have their jobs taken away to make a stand for what they believe in.
Right.
And people should be able to stand up for what they believe in, because we flat out do not have all the facts and information on anything in general,
Right.
But this COVID situation has been the center point of our lives for the last couple years. And so I really do I understand what Australia's doing, and I think you said that too. I mean, that's how they want to handle their country. Let them handle their country that way.
Right.
So they stood up for what they believe in.
And he did the same, right?
And Djokovic did the same, and he was very professional about how he handled it. Another thing I was thinking too, it said health exemption. I was just thinking, I was like, this is like peak performance male athlete, like one of the best athletes of all time. Of course, he might not want to put something in his body that could like disrupt his metabolism or
right.
his peak performance.
And it's been proven that BMI is lack of exercise are major contributors to getting COVID and not surviving well. And this is one of the most, he's the most well exercised person in shape person in the world.
Should be extremely resilient, you know.
Yeah.
And in a case like this too, it's almost like kids. You know, kids have no chance of getting this.
Right.
And nobody's pushing the vaccine on kids, and nobody's keeping kids out of, you know, places. School, it's not a requirement.
Everybody except California.
Oh, California, it's a requirement?
Yeah, they're signing into law, I think, later in the year, anybody over 5 years old has to be vaccinated.
Well, I guess it comes down to, like you were saying, you know, cities, states, governments have the right to make their own decisions based on their but I believe somewhere in the world, people should have the ability to also stand up for what they believe in, you know. And Djokovic is willing to sacrifice, you know, history. Like, he's already a legend, you know, but this is athletes and coaches like this. I mean, they always want to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and this has impact for years to come because by him being deported, he cannot return to Australia for 3 years.
Oh, wow. This is going to be interesting to see play out. I mean, I would imagine that there's going to be some kind of overturning in the Australian court, you know.
Right.
But
they're going to want to see him in the tournament in future years, so they'll probably reverse course once this COVID thing plays itself out some more.
Yeah, it just made me think about real quick. The Winter Olympics are coming up. I wonder what kind of issues we might see. COVID.
We're going to see more of this for sure.
Another thing I was thinking about real quick as far as sports and COVID, it's funny how, like, leading up to playoffs or big games, it's like you have guys going out with COVID, you know. But how come when there's a big game, you know, a championship or a playoff game, nobody seems to get sick anymore?
Right. They don't want to impact the big game.
It's a puzzle.
That's just like the bowl games. All the bowl games were getting canceled for college, but, you know, the
playoffs and national championship, nobody set out. But
right.
Anyways.
Well, this is fun. Please like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you don't miss any future podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, and our job, what we want to bring to you guys is nobody wants to watch mainstream media news, so we're just trying to make sure that our audience, our subscribers, are up to date on all the latest topics. You know, you don't have to take what we say as fact or truth or anything, but we can at least hit you with the current events. Give us as much shit as you want to in the comments about how stupid
we love to hear those comments.
We appreciate it, yeah. And come talk to us on the forum, you know. Say what you want. Say what you believe in.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. We'll see you next time.